I've only been as good as the people that have been working with me. I have a business. I have something that I know people like and people come to see and they enjoy the atmosphere here. And I'm very proud of what I've created. And I'm very proud of the people that enjoy my place, or the Cannery. And I really do love it. I love being here. I love being in the grind. And I enjoy seeing people's faces. I enjoy seeing people having a good time. And I'm glad that I can provide a place for them to do that.
Welcome to the Bottled Up Podcast. On this episode, we will talk with Mathew Mavar, the owner of the Cannery Bar and Grill in Woolmarket, Mississippi. Matt reveals the ins and outs, joys, and challenges of running one of the best live music venues and bars on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Plus, he also shares his family tree origin story of the Cannery name, the genius of Elvis, and his best advice on surviving the grind, and the secrets to thriving in the bar and restaurant industry. So, Matt, I appreciate for you coming in and having a conversation with us on the podcast, man. Thanks.
Oh, man, thank you for having me.
You and I have been known each other for almost a year now. We've been kind of dealing with each other as far as the Pepsi business is concerned for almost a year. And I figured that you would be a good guy to get on fourth episode of the podcast, just to kind of get your story, kind of get the mindset of someone who owns a local business, especially a bar, and, just to kind of pick your brain a little bit about how things are going in that industry.
I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. My first question is, what made you decide to get into the bar business?
Well, it was kind of one of those things where I knew I needed to do something. I've always had a job, or if I didn't have a job, I had another job waiting to start another job. Never quit a job without having a job. But even I couldn't even do that 100% right all the time. Sometimes you just had to get out of your environment. I don't know, maybe I wasn't ever destined to work for anybody. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, because you had family and everything, you wanted to have that steady income. But I was getting to a point to where my older daughters were growing up, and I could probably start to maybe bet on myself a little bit more and take some more risks for employment. Or, I've always tried to have a side hustle job or something, even when I was working for the man.
That's one of the things that you and I discussed when we talked a while back. You always wanted to be in business for yourself. So, you always wanted to kind of set your own hours. You always wanted to kind of be the guy who was going to have the vision, who knew what was going on. That's the beauty of America, honestly, is that you have opportunities to where you can do that without a hindrance of someone trying to say, listen, that's a dumb idea. That isn't going to work, that kind of thing. So,
oh, believe me, people still said that.
Well, that's what you said, like betting on yourself, man.
Yeah. It's not easy, because there are moments 100% where you want to just crawl up into a corner and suck on your thumb.
Right.
And cry, but you don't. Yeah. Even if you do, I don't do it here. I go home and keep my personal life away from everyone.
Yeah. You gotta persevere, man. That's the thing about betting on yourself, is that you look around the room and it's you in there. You got to be the one to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. You got to be the one to set your employees up to win. You got to be the one to, open and be willing to open and close. And that's basically what betting on yourself is. And I think that you have a pretty good product over at the Cannery right now, and I commend you on it, man. And because not a lot of people, they can hold an idea like that in their back pocket for 25 years, 30 years. And then they look around and like, man, I'm 60 years old, and I don't have the energy nor the will power to get out there and do what I should have done, 30 years ago. So I commend you on that.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. I've only been as good as the people that have been working under me or working for me.
Right. I agree.
Working with me, I've had a couple of general managers already. And honestly, without saying, I had a general manager before the one I have right now, that he made it easy for me to be complacent and not want or have to do as much as I probably should have needed to do.
Right.
And, it happens, you get lazy, and I got lazy.
Well, you get used to people handling stuff for you.
Exactly. You get used to people handling stuff. And then a lot of times they don't want to tell you when they're starting to get overworked, or when they're starting, or if they are, it's okay. It's no big deal. All right. You can tell me all you want, but the second, you kind of end that sentence with, I'm good, I'm going back to being complacent, I guess. That's just how human nature is.
Well, it's one of those things that, and I kind of understand exactly what you mean, because I have some guys who aren't, children. They're not, you don't have to hold their hand. They know what they're doing. They're one of those kind of set it and forget it kind of people. And I have a lot of middle management supervisor guys like that. I mean, basically my whole middle management team is seasoned. And you kind of sit back and you're like, well, I got it going on. And like, you know what I mean? And then something will happen where it tests the entire system and it tests you. So you kind of all have to always be thinking. And I think that's honestly what an owner's job is, to don't look at necessarily the day to day, is look at what you want to accomplish.
You have to be ready to take care of the day to day. Should it happen?
Right. Absolutely.
You gotta pull, for lack of a better term these days, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, tighten your belt, and get ready to not get any sleep for the next week or two.
Yeah. So another question, kind of get into your business a little bit. When I spoke to you a little while ago, I mean, I was kind of very interested in the ins and outs of running a bar, because it's not as simple as people think. People think, oh, it'd be great to own a bar. You get to hang out, you get to have basically your own play place where you can invite people over and drink and that kind of thing. I mean, kind of take me through what the most difficult aspects and the most fulfilling aspects of owning a bar are.
It's fulfilling in the sense that it's like, I have a place, I have a business, I have something that I know people like and people come to see, and they enjoy the atmosphere here. And I'm very proud of what I've created, and I'm very proud of the people that enjoy my place, enjoy the Cannery. And I really do love it. I love being here. I love being in the grind, especially when even if I've got somebody that's working, or I've got a current general manager that's working right next to me. And even if I'm here till 11 o'clock at night because I have to be, or even not because I have to be, because I want to be.
Right.
I enjoy that grind. It's good. And I enjoy seeing people's faces, and I enjoy seeing people having a good time. And I'm glad that I can provide a place for them to do that.
Right. I mean, you are basically the only show in town over in your area. I mean,
yeah. There's a few others that are on the river there, right closer to Gulfport.
Right.
And then there's another one that's about to be built over there as well. And those, they get that water traffic, during the summer, and that's good. I'm a bar, I'm a restaurant, and I'm a live music venue.
Yes. And I think the thing where a lot of where you shine, honestly, is the venue, the stage, and the atmosphere that you guys have built over there at the Cannery. I don't think you're going to really get that. There isn't a space at the other places that I've seen. And I've been to a couple on the water side, and I haven't really seen a venue area like that over there like you have.
I tried to make it like House of Blues, but smaller.
Yeah.
Something that's more containable, or something that I can, like really wrap my head around, and it won't be too overwhelming. Right. Even though there's plenty of weeks where it's overwhelming. But, some of the things that I didn't expect getting into business in general was, having employees, but B, having to pay payroll tax on those employees.
Yes.
And like right from the get-go, it's like, all right, so I, nobody told me. I never had anything to where I had employees before, so it was having to set aside money and know I had this for payroll and this for the second payroll of the month. Then all of a sudden, wait, I got to pretty much make a third payroll now
for taxes,
for federal taxes. And that can literally be just as high as my regular payroll.
Well, that's the weeds, man. That's the ins and outs that they don't tell you. And you have to figure it out on your own, like you have, basically. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you described the Cannery as you basically wanted to make it like a small House of Blues. If anybody's never been to the Cannery, kind of describe what it is and what the vibe is. What do you think they would first notice when they walked in the door? That kind of a thing, the ambiance.
I think they'll notice just, I'm very humble when I say this, but I made my bar look nice.
Right.
It's a nice atmosphere. It's got nice stained floors. It's got some art on the wall, big murals, stuff that just pops and stands out at you. And when people drive up to it and they see that it's a strip mall, and then they walk into that middle door, and they're like, literally, it's almost like you're walking into Disney World or New York City, the high rises for the first time. People are just kind of, their eyes wander to everything. It's like they're getting hit with so much input.
Right.
Just visually.
They're not expecting it.
No, they're not. Especially like when the sun goes down a little bit and your eyes are used to, or the sun's really bright outside and your eyes are used to seeing like, really bright. And then you come in there and it's a little dim.
Yeah.
Your eyes take a second to get adjusted to everything. And then you can really look at everything and be like, oh my gosh, this is really nice.
Well, I think that is a testament to, as far as the visuals are concerned, that is a testament to that was what you went to school for. I don't know.
Yeah, I did do a lot of graphic design, and I think a lot of stuff in how I worked with contractors to build the bar and build certain little areas of the bar. My panache for spacing and for having certain things be equal on one side of it. What I'm saying? Like it's
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've dabbled a little bit with Illustrator a little bit when we first kind of opened up our own print shop here.
Mm-hmm.
You think, oh, cool, we can print whatever we want, but you don't realize that the printer has nothing to do with anything. It's the graphic, it's creating the graphics. And so I kind of had to learn what Illustrator was and how do I pull images in and how do I, do cut contour outlines, all that stuff. And I kind of did a crash course of it on myself. And I probably don't do it the way that everybody else is supposed to do it, but I just do it the way that I knew how to do it, just to make simple banners and stuff. But spacing is key and having an eye for it. I mean, you designed your own logo, you design all of the signage that you guys put out. It shows the personal touch of, all right, this is a brand that I'm creating. From the stained floors, like you were talking about, to the murals on the wall, I'm creating something from nothing. And there's something inside of humans that like to go to bed knowing that I've built something from nothing.
Yes.
I was listening to the radio the other day and the Red Hot Chili Peppers were on. They had the new album out. And they talked about the person was asking them, you have the catalog you guys have is so incredible. Why even make new music? Why don't you just tour on the last 8 albums that you guys have done? That's enough. We will all be happy with that. And they said they still have that itch to wake up in the morning with nothing and go to bed with something.
Yeah. I like going to bed at night feeling that I've accomplished some things, even if it's just, hey, we got through this weekend, or, weekends that we're anticipating not to be very fruitful, but, or that we know that we're paying a lot out for bands.
Yes.
And it was like, man, I don't know if we're going to get the people in here this weekend. And then unbeknownst, you get surprised and more people show up than you anticipated. And you're like, okay, I can hang with this. This is good.
Absolutely. Go ahead and kind of talk about the food on your menu. I didn't know this, but you kind of explained this to me, is that whenever you open up a bar, you have to have a certain amount of menu items compared to liquor items.
Well, it's not really a certain amount of items compared to liquor items, but what you have to sell a certain percentage of your overall. That's not even via state requirement or federal requirement. If you're in a bar business, you want to have liquor liability. And a lot of bars out there choose not to do it because it's not cheap. Another $3,000 a month just for payroll taxes. Well, I'm looking at that again, or close to it, just for liquor liability a month. They don't want you over serving. They don't want they want to know that you're offering enough food that can
offset the alcohol.
Like I was just filling something out earlier because they can approve you and they can write the policy, or they can write the policy and everything's signed and everything, but then they got to send you all this questionnaire and stuff, and you got to take pictures and send it back to them, and it's an ordeal, and it's funny because they make it seem like this is not going to take too much out of your time. Don't worry, you can do this.
Absolutely, yeah. That's always the preface, right? It's like, this is a quick 15-minute thing, Yeah.
But if you tell me I have till like May 15th to do this, the way my brain works, I'm scrambling to get it done as quick as I can because I don't want to forget.
Right.
I don't want to get put in that
position. Fighting against procrastination.
Yeah, right. And that I could probably get that tattooed somewhere on me.
Yeah. That if you sit back, you're just going to let it go until the 14th. And then you're going to be like, oh, I really got to get it done.
If I sit back and I don't do it when I'm thinking of it, it won't get done.
Well, at least you're cognizant about that, and all right, this is how I have to fight against my own personality. So there's nothing wrong with it. So Matt, the name, the Cannery, how did you decide to name the bar the Cannery? Give me a little bit of the history behind that.
Well, my family is from Biloxi, Mississippi. They're actually from Yugoslavia, but the Mavars have always had a big foot planted in the ground in Biloxi. And we used to have Mavar Shrimp and Oyster Company. We were one of the first companies, shrimp companies on the coast, family owned, that went across state lines. We were one of the oldest on the coast. We've got some history here, you know?
Right.
And we've got some history on some certain places in Biloxi too. The Point, the Back Bay Point, you know, over where Point Cadet is, and where our factory was on the beach, and then our cannery on Back Bay on the Back Point. So after a certain time with my family, they started realizing that we had all these stray cats coming up and eating all the dead fish. And they kind of had an idea to start making their own cat food recipe out of seafood. Now, I don't know whether we were the first to ever put seafood in cat food or not, but it seems like it worked out pretty well for us. And if we weren't the first, we were right up there.
It makes sense, man.
And so we started making Cozy Kitten cat food. And we did that for years. And the cat food plant was great. We had the cannery on Back Bay. There's no central heating or air conditioning. You know, you had these big warehouses that were just cooled down by nothing but fans.
Yeah,
you go in there and
fans.
The stink would be so nasty. As a kid, I'm like, this is disgusting. This is awesome, but it's disgusting. And some of these cans that would get in the very back part of storage that would get really, really hot would explode.
I know how that is. We have 2 liters sometimes when they've been packaged towards the end of the line or the beginning of the line, they tend to start popping in the summertime. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. I know how that is.
You'd walk into the area and I tell my dad, and I said, Dad, what is that smell? And he'd look right at me and he'd go, money.
Yep. That's old school.
Okay. I said, okay, yeah, money. All right, cool. I want to go eat breakfast now. So Cozy Kitten Cat Food, they sold the company to Heinz. We still own some of the property in Biloxi, and we lease some of it to, what was the Grand Casino now is Harris and yep. Everything. So basically, I said, how can I bring in my own love and respect for my family and just kind of show people where I come from without throwing it in people's faces, mm-hmm. without saying this is the Mavar bar, or without saying, and then, you know, maybe I was too cocky thinking that people would think that. I don't know. Like I said, dude, I try to be as humble as I can. I've got friends my whole life say, like, people like, oh, that's a Mavar. He's like, no, he ain't like that. And I never have been. I've tried to always just be kind of real with people, you know?
You've kind of purposefully distanced yourself from the ideology of what your family stands for, but it's also a responsibility to act a certain way and to showcase a certain way and to make your family proud, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I know the feeling.
When I first did this and I wanted to showcase just some of the highlights of my family, I figured, you know, art would be the best way to do it. So there's a picture of my family. I want to say it was from like 1984 or 5, and they're all standing in front of the cat food plant on Back Bay, the cannery. It's a picture that I've always seen since I was a kid. It's a go-to picture to put in the obituary if any one of my family members passes.
Right.
It's still reminiscent to me of a time forgotten and a time gone. And I wanted to showcase that.
It makes it look more authentic. It makes it look kind of like, you know, this place isn't just, you know, this place has been open for 50 years.
After all that decorating, that was, you know, like I said, I was in the shower and then I was like, how can I do all this without just saying like, this is a Mavar thing? And it just came to me. I'll just call it the Cannery, and it's worked. It fits. It's quick off the tongue.
I think the name does work, and it is an homage to your family.
Yes, it's a homage to what got me here.
Right. Matt, what, in your opinion, what are the top 5 things that you sell, or like, what do you think the best items on your menu are?
AR chicken wings are the best, and they're big, hefty, chunky meat, and we've got plenty of different sauces, but one of the ones that's the big seller is our Biloxi Gold sauce, and it's kind of a smoky, honey mustardy type, but cool. It's kind of orangey looking.
Yeah, I know my guys, we've had some late night calls in the past. Whenever my guys have come to fix like something that's off or something while you're operating, your staff has fed them some chicken wings to kind of to kind of ease the pain a little bit for coming in on the weekend. But they always rave about how good they are, man.
And see, I didn't know that they were doing that, and we just had y'all come out like last week, and I didn't feed them any chicken wings. I feel
well. Listen, don't get them used to that kind of treatment. I mean.
Are you kidding me, man? Coca-Cola ain't coming out here at freaking 11 o'clock at night to fix their crap.
I know. And that's
Beverages is.
That's one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, you know, why did you guys make the decision to go with us and to pull the trigger on us? Because, I mean, a lot of times there's that fear factor of people are like, well, I don't know about if I change this of my business, or people going to stop coming in and that kind of thing. And our job is to kind of tell them like, listen, people are coming in because of your drinks, your food, and your live bands. They're not coming in because you have Coke or Pepsi. So why did you guys decide, to kind of pull the trigger on us?
Well, it had nothing to do with you. It was all political. I'm just kidding. No. I'll be honest. I had gotten the idea after I think Coke had done something about something training, CRT training or whatever. And I was like, well, that's not cool. That's just my personal belief, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, well, much like the fall of Disney right now, I didn't want anything to do with Coke anymore after that. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm not going to make any drastic decision. This is a business, and you can't run your business off of feelings, and you can't run your business off of personal political beliefs,
Right.
It stuck with me a little bit and it nagged at me. And then I talked with my former manager and I was like, look, man, let's just see what else is out there and see what we can do. And we got a hold of you guys. And literally, like it was a no-brainer. Just the way you guys talked to us, it wasn't like we were a number just right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And even then, I think it took a couple days for us to really kind of pull the trigger on it. But because it's a lot of work.
It is putting the fate of you opening on time in our hands, the fate of the install going well.
Yes.
Is the
getting everything out of here.
Yes.
Like Coca-Cola and bringing Pepsi in,
yes.
that was a lot.
It's a lot. And it is a lot and our job is to make sure that you understand that we're going to do it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. One of the things that sells bar owners, especially, is it's the 14 button guns, man. It's mixers on the gun.
Yeah.
And if you've ever operated one, or you've ever been a bartender, and I get reviews and I talk to all the people that we've done this to, they say that, in theory, they're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't want to have everything. And then after they use it, everything's in one place. The efficiencies are there. You don't have any waste. You're taking out less trash because you're not pouring any cans or bottles. It's a no brainer. And when I come back after about a week or two of them using it, they're like, man, this is great. This is awesome. All my juices are on the gun. All my mixers are on the gun. All my energies on the gun. All my sodas are on the gun.
But
I want to ask you something else, man. I want to ask you about live music. The Cannery is known for live music. I mean, you guys do a really good job with the presentation of bands. You live stream if people don't want to be there. What's coming up in the next few months? And if you could have one band come and play, who would that be?
Probably be Blackberry Smoke.
Okay.
I've followed them for the past 10 years. One of my buddies, he was the guitar tech for a long time with me. If you've ever loved a band so much and like all you want to do is just hang out with them for a minute, or just like, get backstage, or just be able to talk to them.
Right.
Or, just fanboy out a little bit because you love the music or whatever. I had that opportunity. My buddy was the guitar tech. So anytime they played locally, or New Orleans, Mobile, Jackson, or Meridian, or wherever, if the venue allowed it, I had a backstage pass.
That's awesome, man.
And you got to go on the bus and hang out with them, and all of our friends or whatnot that are friends with the guitar tech. He gave us the red carpet treatment, man, and it was really fun 4 or 5 years. But Blackberry Smoke, those are my guys.
Let me ask you this. I didn't give you an opportunity to answer. We kind of got off on your dream band, but what's coming up with the Cannery? What's going on?
We've got some really good shows coming up. In fact, we kind of got a little working together with Kevin Harris and the Sound 228, and we're getting a lot of rock bands out here. We're really starting to become like the premier go-to venue for the Sounds. A lot of their concerts that they try to put on.
Got it.
That's really going to help. We've got one of the biggest 80s acts that ever came out of Louisiana, Lillian Axe. They're coming to play Friday, May 20th. The next day after that, we have Holy Lightning coming down from Nashville. Leilani Kilgore, if you've never seen her play, and Tesla Dawn's her vocal pipes, my gosh, they are amazing.
The space that you have there, man, that's a intimate venue, but it's bigger than you think it is. So
yeah, and we're both of those shows, Lillian Axe and Holy Lightning, we're gonna have both of those outdoors.
Got it.
So that should be a really, really good night.
What's coming on next? I know that you and I have had discussions about this, but what's coming on next with the community as far as karaoke is concerned? I know that last year y'all did a huge karaoke contest.
Yeah.
I know that you're trying to, you're trying to work one out this year. What's happening? Do y'all ever do karaoke, just like a karaoke night that you have on a weekly basis?
Okay, so like here's the thing with the karaoke. So when we first opened, there were a lot of factors that led to a great karaoke night. We were open during COVID and people wanted a place to go.
Right.
So we had a pretty strong karaoke following from opening of September 2020 to I'd say through the contest last year, which I believe ended in like October, that we did like 9 weeks. We made a mistake last year by taking over regular karaoke night for the contest. So people that didn't want to sing in the contest didn't have a place to sing karaoke here anymore.
Got it.
During the duration of the contest.
Yep.
So they just kind of found a different place to go sing. So when the contest ended, we have struggled with karaoke, and that was from, like I said, from like mid-October last year through now.
That's kind of like something that you don't really realize it when you're in it, man. I mean, you think,
No.
all right, well, it's like normally people come here to sing karaoke on Thursday nights or whatever. That's the night we're going to have the karaoke contest. You know what I mean? And you have people who are competing and you have people who just want to go and recreationally have fun.
Exactly.
It's kind of, I don't fault you for wanting to do it that way, because you got to think about it. It makes sense to have it on the same night that you would have everything else.
Yeah, it is a lesson learned. We're trying to get the contest back again. Carter's champions and everything. They've nothing against them, but they've opted out of doing it this year or sponsoring it. So we're great relationship still. Everything's fine. It's just they wanted to move on a different direction, and that's fine with me.
Yeah.
But I still want to have some sort of consistency, and you can't have the first annual karaoke contest without having the second annual karaoke contest.
Yeah, so, that's true.
That's just kind of how I wanted to do business. And last year the contest was really good for us. It just overtook regular karaoke night. So if we do get to the point this year, which I'm hoping we will, where we can work out another contest, even if it's, I hope it'd be $10,000 grand prize again, but even if it's $5,000 is split between two people, I still want to be able to do something, to put something forth for people to come out and enjoy themselves.
Absolutely.
If we do that, I think we'll still have karaoke on another night of the week, regular karaoke. So people will still sing, or, we'll stretch it out during the night of the contest and still allow people to come up and just sing for giggles, and not actually be in the contest, even though they'll be singing in front of a packed house.
Well, I think that actually would make it even more interesting if you weren't competing that way. You would get the experience of competing without the pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, like we also, we did the finale last year was with a live band, and which really turned out really well. We had the band 3HG, and Matt Schnocky he can play almost anything. He's a whiz. And so we had like 2 nights of rehearsals before the finale week, and it was like, y'all come on down, because look, singing with a backing track is not the same as singing live with a live band.
Oh yeah, it's like American Idol or The Voice, man. It's like it gives you that big city kind of like, this is a big deal type situation, because you feel like a lead singer in a rock band. Right.
You're going to be on stage and you're going to hear beats, and you're going to hear things that you wouldn't normally hear with a backing track.
With a track. That's
and
right.
That can easily throw your game off if you're not used to hearing it.
Absolutely.
And then sometimes sometimes you may be so used to singing a song on the karaoke track, the BPM is a little faster on the karaoke track than the way it's really played live. You got to adjust.
That's the human element, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you're dealing with people, human beings are playing that sound. It's not coming from a speaker.
No, not at all. And we wanted entertainers too. We didn't want people that just got up, stood there and sang a song. Great. You got a great, wonderful voice, but you're on stage and you're trying to win $10,000 or your piece of $10,000. You got to shake it. You got to work it.
Make us feel like, you got to be an entertainer, man. You got to be a lead singer.
And I think last year there was, obviously there was some complaints that the 2 that won, the guy and girl that won, they sing in bands normally throughout the Gulf Coast, so they were looked at as professionals. And I'm like, well, they're entertainers. And there's a guy who got second place, who wasn't in a band, who just sang, very musically inclined.
Right.
But, he got second place. So, and then the guy that did win, He tried out 4 different occasions to make it to the next step, just like everyone else. So it wasn't like he just came in and swooped everybody away and we just gave him the prize, or the judges gave him the prize. It wasn't it. He tried 4 different occasions, 4 different weeks to make it to the semifinals and fail.
Do you sing karaoke at your house? Do you have like a karaoke machine at your house? Do you sing at your house?
No, I sing in the shower, but you got to pay really good money to see that. No, I'll sing at the bar every now and then. My current manager thinks that I should run the karaoke show.
What's your favorite, if you had to, and they say, listen, you're going to enter into a karaoke contest, what's your favorite song or number one song that you can perform the best?
Well, it's probably an Elvis song. I enjoy singing Elvis.
Nothing wrong with that.
I've done American Trilogy really well. Elvis, Never Been to Spain.
Okay.
It's a favorite one of mine. I dig.
People still love him, man. I mean, Elvis is still an icon. I mean, the guy is still killing it.
I mean, he died a year before I was born. I'm 43. I don't get it, man. Like, there'd never be anybody like.
Well, he was an innovator. He was the first one, man.
Yeah, I still find myself just looking at old concert footage of Elvis, and just this guy just went out there, just like threw it all up in the air and just like, let's go for it. Let's do it the way I want to do it, and they'll either like it or they won't. And he didn't care. He was him. There were so many iterations of him.
Oh yeah. He went through a bunch of different phases, man. He was like the Beatles all wrapped into one dude.
Yeah. It's a lesson that you can learn just from a performer standpoint, but as well as a business owner. If you're not evolving and if you're not changing, then you're not going to make any money. Like, you got to move with the times a little bit, man. And
let me ask you something about that in that vein of being a business owner and, challenges of owning your own business and everything. Like, if you could give a local restaurant owner or bar owner like one piece of advice or advice to live by that's really paid off, what would that advice be?
Honestly, I would say learn to delegate. Don't try to do it all yourself.
Got it.
I'm fortunate enough to where and I guess maybe other people may not be, but I'm fortunate enough to where I don't have to take a paycheck from the bar. So I opt to have a general manager.
Yes.
And that allows me to focus on a lot of the external aspects of this without having to worry about the day-to-day. I mean, I still do. And I still find myself with my face in the computer a lot, but learn to delegate a little bit. And I've also learned that, everybody's going to have a complaint and everybody's going to tell you what you need to do. But I'd say wait at least until 20 people say the same thing.
I have some of that as well, where it's like, when you become the guy who's making the shots, everybody wants to give you advice on how to run it, right? They want to tell you, hey, listen, what would be good? This guy's saying we need to do this. I think we need to go ahead and pull the trigger on this, this, and this, and everything that say this, and this is money.
Yeah.
So I think the number one thing that in my eyes is, just be true to yourself and have a single vision. And if you can basically boil it down to that single vision, which for me, honestly, is it good for the company?
Yeah.
Is what we're doing healthy for the company? Is it a good practice? Are we setting a good example by doing what we're doing? And I do understand as far as delegation is concerned, because when you have the capability and you want to do it all on your own, you're going to get burned out and you're going to end up either closing your doors or you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And there's compromises that need to be made too. What's the bigger outcome from a compromise?
Exactly. Well, and one of the things that I started off doing with the bar and live music is I didn't want to have just one type of music. When I first started, I kind of wanted to have more of a rootin' tootin' honky tonk. I'm big into old country music, and I was like, man, I really just want to kind of put together a small little honky tonk and see where it goes. Well, not everybody likes country music 7 days a week. Or however long I was going to stay open at the time. But I made the decision right then and there to we were going to have all types of music. We were going to be the type of bar and live venue that people of all different walks of life are able to kind of just blend in. And, we'll have heavy rock nights. We'll have, sometimes we'll have a 2-man jazz piece up there or a funk band or just really classic cover song band. A lot of our regulars like to hear they want to be able to dance.
Yeah.
And even though we don't really have a dance floor, it's still, we've got enough room by your tables where you can just get right off your bar stool, just kind of shake your hands and,
I think that's a smart idea because you're not pigeonholing yourself where you've opened yourself up as I am a venue, I am a bar, and I'm also a restaurant. So I think that's a smart move, man. I think it really is.
There was the first three things that I kind of took a bet on when I started this was A, there's no bar in Wool Market, and B, are you crazy? There's no bar in Wool Market. Yeah. Dude, honestly, the idea started off way smaller than what I ended up building. And I think what I've done is I've been able to take all these ideas from the House of Blues and then just a normal restaurant and then a place that has just like a one-man guy on Friday nights or something like that. And I've been able to kind of incorporate all these other different ideas into this one place that wasn't really that big, where I didn't have to spend 10 minutes walking from one end to the other.
Yeah. Well, Matt, listen, man, we've been chatting for a while now. I've taken up enough of your time. I do appreciate you getting on once again, telling your story, describing the venue, describing what the Cannery means to you and how the name came about. If people were looking for you online or on social media, where would they need to go to try to look up the Cannery?
Well, you can go to Facebook and look up the Cannery Bar and Grill on the Facebook page. And that's where we also have a lot of our events listed. Okay. But the main place that I really want to drive everybody's traffic to is our website, which is cannerybar.com.
Okay.
You can find anything on that website that you can find on the Facebook page. We have a Vimeo account to where you can actually go to the website and click watch us live, and it'll take you to Vimeo. But cannerybar.com, I just opened up a little merch store with it the other day.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can get some cannery related items, shirts, tank tops for the summer, a couple hats. We're going to be gradually building up the store.
Good. You need to flesh that out. I think that'd be great. If anybody wanted to actually come to the Cannery and physically see a show or just come get some of your delicious food and have a beer or whatever, where would they need to go? What's the address to the Cannery? How can they get there?
The physical address is 13066 Shriners Boulevard, Biloxi. 39532, but it's also, just to be real easy, you can get on the I-10 exit, and if you're in Biloxi, head towards Gulfport. If you're in Gulfport, head towards Biloxi, and we're literally right in between. It's the Wool Market exit. You drive not even 2 miles north, you go through the yellow light, and you'll see us on the right. It's awesome. Very close to the interstate. And one of our little things that we like to say, and we put it on the menu and we put it on a lot of our ads, is we're closer than you thought.
Awesome. Cool. Hey, I just want to thank you for getting on the podcast with me, telling your story, kind of giving people an insight on what the Cannery is all about. If you haven't been, you need to go check out the Cannery in Wool Market, especially on band nights. They really have a nice area, a nice space over there. And I want to personally thank you too, man, for taking a chance on us as far as, doing business with us. And we don't take advantage of the business relationship that we have. I do hold every customer as a partner in my eyes. And I hope you feel the same way. If there's ever anything you need or if there's anything we can do as far as Allen Beverages is concerned to help you, we're more than open.
Andrew, thank you very much, man. It's been my pleasure.
It was great to talk with Matt about his passion for his business and his drive to provide a quality experience for his regulars and patrons, plus sharing his family's business roots and that fantastic cozy cat story that has led to Mathew writing his own chapter in our dynamic local business story and its future. Mathew loves what he does, and I think you could hear that in the conversation we just heard. Whether you're looking for a great place to grab a drink, some wings, or catching some of the best live music in the area, go see Mathew in the Cannery in Wool Market, Mississippi. You can thank me later. Thanks for listening to the Bottled Up Podcast. We will be adding new places for you to find Bottled Up every week. Right now, we are only found on SoundCloud, the Allen Beverages Facebook page, and our Allen Beverages YouTube channel. Plus, you can find the show on the Deep Fried Network at deepfriedstudios.com. Want us to deliver this show into your email inbox as they drop? Want to tell us about how you like the show? Or you want to tell us about a Gulf Coast restaurant or bar you would like us to spotlight in upcoming episodes? Email Morgan at mwheeler, WHEELER, at abevinc.com. That's ABEVINC.com. Want to know more about Allen Beverages and how we work with our clients, partners, and vendors? Check out allenbeverages.com. This show was edited and produced by Johnny Gwynn and Deep Fried Studios.